What's up, everybody? Today we are diving into something absolutely mind-blowing, the future of warfare. I'm talking about the most advanced, most powerful, and most game-changing military technology you have ever seen. We're going to explore everything from weapons that travel at 5 times the speed of sound to planes that are literally invisible to radar. I've spent the last month researching this with my team, and what we found is crazier than any movie you've ever watched. This isn't science fiction, this is the real-life tech that will decide who wins the next global conflict. We are going to break down everything. We'll look at hypersonic missiles that can strike anywhere on Earth in under an hour, AI-powered robot soldiers that make their own decisions, and laser cannons that can shoot drones out of the sky. We're also going to pit the world's biggest superpowers, the USA, China, and Russia, against each other to see who really has the upper hand. This is the ultimate guide to the future of military power, and I promise you, by the end of this video, your view of the world will be completely different. I'm giving away bragging rights to the first person who can guess the cost of a single F-35 jet in the comments. If you're as hyped as I am to see this insane technology, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button right now. We put a ridiculous amount of effort into these videos, and your support means we can keep making more epic content like this. Let's get into it. Alright, first up we have hypersonic missiles. And guys, these things are terrifying. Imagine a missile that moves so fast, we're talking over 3,800 miles per hour or Mach 5, that by the time you even detect it, it's already hit its target. It's like trying to dodge a bullet after you've already been shot. Countries like Russia, China, and the US are in a flat-out race to build these because they completely changed the rules of war. Existing missile defense systems? They're practically useless against something this fast and this maneuverable. It's not just about speed. These missiles can change direction mid-flight, making them impossible to predict. This isn't just a small upgrade. It's a revolutionary leap that could make aircraft carriers and military bases obsolete overnight. A single hypersonic missile launched from a submarine could potentially take out a command center on the other side of the world before anyone could even react. The country that masters this technology first will have a massive, almost unfair advantage in any future conflict. We're talking about the power to strike with complete surprise and impunity. The race for hypersonic supremacy is on, and whoever wins it could hold the keys to global military dominance for decades. Next, let's talk about being invisible. No, I'm not kidding. Modern stealth technology is so advanced it's basically an invisibility cloak for billion-dollar war machines. Take the F-35 Lightning II or the B-21 Raider bomber. These aren't just planes, they are ghosts in the sky. They are built with special shapes, radar-absorbent materials, and advanced electronics designed to scatter and absorb radar waves instead of reflecting them back. To an enemy radar system, a massive bomber like the B-21 might look as small as a bird, or it might not show up at all. This is an insane advantage. It means these aircraft can fly deep into enemy territory, completely undetected, and take out critical targets like air defenses, command posts, or even the leaders themselves, before the enemy even knows they're under attack. Stealth isn't just about being sneaky, it's about achieving total surprise and paralysis. It allows you to kick down the door and win the fight before it even starts. The challenge is that this tech is incredibly expensive and complex, so only a few countries can afford to build and maintain a stealth air force, giving them a huge edge over everyone else. Forget what you know about pilots and cockpits. The sky is now filled with robots, and they are changing warfare forever. We're talking about unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, like the Turkish Bayraktar TB2 and the American MQ-9 Reaper. These aren't your hobby drones, they are sophisticated long-range killing machines that can be controlled by a pilot sitting in a comfortable chair thousands of miles away. They can stay in the air for over 24 hours, patiently hunting for targets with high-tech cameras and sensors. When they find one, they can launch precision missiles with deadly accuracy. The best part for the military? They are way cheaper than traditional fighter jets, and if one gets shot down, you don't lose a pilot. This has made them the weapon of choice in modern conflicts, from Ukraine to the Middle East. We're seeing entire armies of tanks and artillery being destroyed by just a handful of these drones. They give smaller countries a fighting chance against bigger, more powerful adversaries. And it's only getting crazier, with swarms of hundreds of smaller autonomous drones that can work together to overwhelm enemy defenses. The age of the drone is here, and it's rewriting the rules of the battlefield. Okay, this is where it gets straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're talking about directed energy weapons, literally lasers and railguns. The United States Navy already has a working laser weapon system called LAW-Ws. that can shoot down drones and disable small boats with a beam of pure, focused light. It travels at the speed of light, so there's just no dodging it. And the best part? Each shot costs about $1. Compare that to a missile that can cost millions, and you can see why this is a total game changer for defense. It's honestly like having an infinite magazine of ammo, but it gets even crazier with railguns. A railgun uses electromagnetic energy to launch a projectile at insane speeds, over Mach 6. It doesn't use gunpowder or explosives, just raw electricity. The sheer kinetic energy of the projectile hitting its target is enough to cause catastrophic damage. Imagine a metal slug hitting a ship with 7 times the force of a car crash at 100 miles per hour. These weapons could render traditional armor and defenses pretty much useless. While they're still in development because of their massive power requirements, once perfected, lasers and railguns will completely reshape naval and land warfare. If drones controlled by humans weren't scary enough, get ready for the next step: fully autonomous weapons. These are robots that can hunt for and kill targets without any human intervention. We're talking about AI-powered tanks, robotic dogs with rifles on their backs, and swarms of drones that can make their own decisions on the battlefield. The AI is programmed with mission objectives and rules of engagement, and then it's let loose to figure out the best way to achieve its goals. This is both incredible and honestly absolutely terrifying. The advantage is speed. An AI can process information and make decisions in microseconds, way faster than any human soldier ever could. A swarm of autonomous drones could coordinate an attack on a complex target with a level of precision that human pilots could never match. But this raises huge ethical questions. What happens if the AI makes a mistake and targets civilians? Who is responsible when a robot decides to kill? This technology, known as lethal autonomous weapon systems or LAWS, is so controversial that many are calling for a global ban. The age of the Terminator might be closer than we think. Okay, the ultimate showdown: the United States, China, and Russia. If these 3 military titans went to war, who would come out on top? Let's break it down. The United States is the undisputed champion in terms of budget and global power projection. They've got the most advanced air force with stealth fighters like the F-22 and F-35, and a navy with 11 aircraft carriers. That's more than the rest of the world combined. Their technology and experience are second to none, but their forces are spread thin across the globe, and their equipment is incredibly expensive to maintain. Then you have China, the rising superpower. They're pouring insane amounts of money into modernizing their military, focusing on what's called anti-access/area denial. They've built an arsenal of carrier-killer missiles designed specifically to counter the United States Navy. Their navy is now the largest in the world by number of ships, and they're catching up fast in tech like stealth jets and AI. Russia is the wild card. While their conventional military has shown weaknesses, they've got a massive nuclear arsenal and are pioneers in hypersonic missiles and electronic warfare. In a direct fight, the United States likely still has the edge, but it would be a brutal, devastating conflict with no clear winner. So we've talked about the big 3, but what about the most powerful military alliance in history? I'm talking about NATO. This isn't just one country, it's a team of 32 nations, including the United States, United Kingdom, France, Germany, and more, all sworn to defend each other. If you attack one, you attack all of them. This collective power is absolutely staggering. Combined, NATO countries account for over half of the world's total military spending. They have millions of soldiers, thousands of advanced fighter jets, and a naval force that can dominate any ocean on the planet. The key to NATO's strength is interoperability. The ability for all these different armies to fight together seamlessly. They train together, use compatible equipment, and have a unified command structure. This makes them an incredibly formidable opponent. Against an adversary like Russia, NATO's combined economic and military might would be overwhelming in a long conventional war. However, their biggest challenge is political unity. Getting 32 different countries to agree on a course of action can be slow, which could be a weakness in a fast-moving crisis. But if they stand united, there is almost no force on Earth that can match them. Now we have to talk about the scariest weapons of all: nukes. These aren't just big bombs, they are weapons that can end civilization as we know it. The world's nuclear club is led by Russia and the United States, who together own about 90% of all nuclear warheads. Russia has slightly more, with around 5,900 warheads, while the United States has about 5,400. Other countries like China, France, the United Kingdom, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea have smaller but still devastating arsenals. This is the ultimate deterrent. The strategy behind these weapons is called mutually assured destruction, or MAD. It's a simple, terrifying idea. If you nuke me, I will nuke you back, and we will both be completely destroyed. This balance of terror has, ironically, prevented a major war between great powers for over 70 years. These bombs can be delivered by the nuclear triad, long-range bombers, land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, and submarine-launched ballistic missiles. The submarines are the most important part because they are almost impossible to find, guaranteeing that even if a country is wiped out in a first strike, it can still launch a catastrophic retaliatory strike from the ocean. We touched on AI with autonomous weapons, but its role in warfare is so much bigger. I'm giving $10,000 to one person who comments what they think the most powerful AI weapon is. AI is becoming the brain of the modern military. Imagine a general having an AI assistant that can analyze millions of pieces of data in real time. Satellite imagery, drone feeds, enemy communications, social media trends, and then predict the enemy's next move with incredible accuracy. This is what systems like the Pentagon's Project Maven are designed to do. It's like playing chess when you know your opponent's every move in advance. AI is also revolutionizing logistics and maintenance. It can predict when a jet engine will fail before it happens, ensuring that equipment is always ready for battle. And in the cockpit, AI co-pilots can help human pilots manage the overwhelming amount of information in a modern air battle, identifying threats and suggesting targets. The next great arms race won't just be about who has the fastest missile or the stealthiest plane, it will be about who has the smartest algorithm. The military that can process information and make better decisions faster than its enemy will have a decisive advantage on any future battlefield. The next world war might not be fought with bombs and bullets, but with ones and zeros. Welcome to the world of cyberwarfare, the invisible battlefield where nations attack each other's critical infrastructure through computers. A successful cyber attack can be just as devastating as a physical one. Imagine a hostile power shutting down a country's power grid, disabling its financial systems, or corrupting its water supply. This isn't a hypothetical threat, it's already happening. The most famous example is Stuxnet, a computer worm believed to be created by the United States and Israel, which physically destroyed Iranian nuclear centrifuges by manipulating their computer controls. Today, state-sponsored hackers from countries like Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran are constantly probing for weaknesses in their rivals' networks. They steal military secrets, spread disinformation to influence elections, and use ransomware to cripple hospitals and businesses. For a fraction of the cost of building a new aircraft carrier, a country can develop a powerful cyber warfare capability that can wreak havoc on its enemies. This new domain of conflict is cheap, deniable, and incredibly effective, making it one of the biggest threats to global security in the 21st century. The ultimate high ground isn't a hill or a mountain, it's space. For decades, space was primarily used by the military for communication, navigation with GPS, and spying with satellites. But now, it's becoming a potential battlefield itself. The major world powers, the United States, China, and Russia, are all developing weapons designed to destroy or disable enemy satellites. Why? Because the modern military is completely dependent on them. Without satellites, there are no GPS-guided bombs, no long-range communications, and no eyes in the sky to watch the enemy. Taking out a nation's satellites would blind and cripple its armed forces. Russia has already tested an anti-satellite missile system called Noodle, which successfully destroyed one of its own old satellites, creating a massive field of dangerous space debris. China is working on similar missiles as well as satellites with robotic arms that could grab and disable other satellites. The United States has responded by creating the Space Force, a new branch of the military dedicated to protecting American assets in space and preparing for a potential conflict in orbit. The race to control space is on, and the winner will have a huge strategic advantage back here on Earth. This chapter is going to blow your mind, and honestly it's a little scary. We're moving beyond machines and into the realm of biology. Militaries around the world are researching biotechnology to enhance the performance of their soldiers. We're talking about creating literal super soldiers. Imagine soldiers who can stay awake for days without fatigue, who can regrow limbs, or who are genetically engineered to be stronger, faster, and more resistant to pain and disease. This isn't just science fiction. Labs are developing exoskeletons that give soldiers superhuman strength and endurance. But it gets even darker. The same technology that can be used to enhance soldiers can also be used to create terrifying new bioweapons. Imagine a virus engineered to target people with a specific genetic makeup, effectively creating an ethnic weapon, or a pathogen that could wipe out a nation's food supply. The ethical lines here are incredibly blurry. While the goal might be to create more resilient soldiers and save lives, the potential for misuse is enormous. The revolution in biotechnology could lead to a future where the soldiers themselves are the most advanced weapon on the battlefield. So, what would happen if all this insane tech was actually used in a war between major powers, like the United States and China over Taiwan, or NATO and Russia in Eastern Europe? Honestly, it would look nothing like any war we've ever seen before. The first few hours would be a silent, invisible battle fought in cyberspace and space. Each side would try to blind the other by hacking networks, jamming communications, and shooting down satellites. Then, the first physical strikes would likely come from hypersonic missiles, traveling at unbelievable speeds to take out command centers, air bases, and naval fleets before they could even react. There would be no front lines like in World War II. The battlefield would be everywhere. Swarms of autonomous drones would hunt for targets on land and at sea, while stealth bombers and fighters would slip through crippled air defenses to strike deep within enemy territory. The losses of advanced, multi-billion-dollar equipment would be staggering on both sides. The conflict would be incredibly fast, lethal, and complex, with artificial intelligence making decisions in seconds. The risk of escalation to nuclear weapons would be terrifyingly high, as a losing side might be tempted to use them out of desperation. It would be a catastrophe on a global scale. War today isn't always about armies clashing on a battlefield. There's a new, sneakier form of conflict called hybrid warfare. This is a strategy that blends conventional military force with irregular tactics, cyber attacks, and a massive propaganda campaign. The goal is to destabilize and defeat an enemy without ever having to engage in a full-scale declared war. We actually saw a masterclass in this when Russia annexed Crimea in 2014. They used a combination of unidentified special forces, those little green men, cyber attacks, and a powerful disinformation campaign to sow confusion and paralyze the Ukrainian response. This type of warfare is all about operating in the gray zone below the threshold of traditional war. It involves funding proxy groups, spreading fake news on social media to turn a population against its own government, and launching deniable cyber attacks on critical infrastructure. It's cheap, effective, and very difficult to counter. How do you fight an enemy who denies they are even fighting? This blurring of the lines between peace and war is honestly one of the biggest challenges facing modern nations. It's a constant low-level conflict fought on multiple fronts at once. While nations prepare for massive wars, a different kind of fight is constantly being waged in the shadows against terrorist groups. This is the world of elite special operations forces. Units like the United States Navy's SEAL Team 6, the Army's Delta Force, and Britain's SAS are the tip of the spear in the global war on terror. These are some of the most highly trained and lethal soldiers on the planet, tasked with high-risk missions like hostage rescue, intelligence gathering, and eliminating high-value targets. The raid that killed Osama bin Laden is probably the most famous example of their work. But it's not just state-sponsored units. The shadowy world of counterterrorism also includes private military companies, PMCs, like the controversial Wagner Group from Russia. These are essentially mercenaries for hire, often used by governments to do their dirty work with plausible deniability. They operate in conflict zones around the world, fighting, training local forces, and securing resources. The fight against terrorism is a relentless, global manhunt that relies on cutting-edge technology, human intelligence, and the unparalleled skill of these elite warriors who operate far from the public eye. And that's a wrap. We've journeyed through the absolute cutting edge of military technology, from hypersonic missiles and stealth jets to robot soldiers and space weapons. It is absolutely insane to see how fast this technology is evolving. The future of warfare is no longer something out of a movie. It's being developed and deployed right now, and it will change our world in ways we can barely imagine. The power dynamics between the United States, China, and Russia are shifting every single day, and the stakes could not be higher for all of us. So now I want to hear from you. What was the one piece of technology or power shift in this video that completely blew your mind? Was it the laser cannons, the AI robot soldiers, or the idea of a war in space? Let me know in the comments down below. I read every single one of them. And if you learned something new and want to see more deep dives into the most insane tech and military strategies on the planet, please destroy that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Thank you all so much for watching. We spent an unbelievable amount of time and effort to bring you this video, and your support truly means the world to me and my team. Seriously, thank you. For our next video, we're going even deeper. We're going to explore the secret weapons programs that governments don't want you to know about and simulate what the battlefields of 2050 will actually look like. You are not going to want to miss it. See you in the next one.